Good morning, YouTube and Renee.
Good morning, YouTube, and hi, Robyn. Welcome in. Welcome in. As we are starting today, we are delighted to welcome you in to this week's YouTube Live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Who are you? Where are you coming in from? Type in the chat. Let us know if you're here and where you're from. We see you folks out there live. We're excited to have you. And for those of you that are watching the recording later, welcome to today's YouTube Live. Robyn and I are going to be exploring how to move your body from rigid to relaxed and stay soft in the face of stress. And soft is strong, my friends, like seaweed. So my name is Dr. Renée Ostertag.
I'm Dr. Robyn Gisbert.
And we are doctors of physical therapy in the state of Colorado, USA. We love these conversations because they are fun, first of all. We like learning. We like sharing. We like being in engagement with one another. And there's a whole host of confusion in the world about this mind-body connection and the nervous system and how to organize your own life in the face of such challenging times. So we're here to hopefully bring some safety and clarity to that space. Tia, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here and calling us joy bringers. What a delight. I don't think I've ever been called that before.
And if you spot it, you got it. So, there's a fellow joy bringer over there in Littleton.
For sure. Who else is here? It's great to see you. We love to know who's on the other side of this. As I was just saying, we're PTs. This is not medical advice. This is education and entertainment, and we like to be in conversation with you. So if you have a formal medical problem, please go see a doctor. And if you want to engage in a conversation with us, we are here from a learning, mentoring, educating standpoint. Question. Do you startle easily? Do noises bother you? You're super sensitive to sounds, especially somebody chewing or like fidgeting, snapping gum, picking their fingernails, nervous habits. Do those get under your skin? Oof. Speaking along those lines, does the state of the world make you physically cringe? Oh, can anybody relate? Hi, good to see you all coming in. Tia, Denver, Brent, Brian, Erica, good to see you. I know there's more of you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to be talking today. Specifically, Robyn is going to be sharing her experience with something called misophonia. And then we will relate misophonia to the broader context of how to live in a how to speak like Bugs Bunny. Does he do that? How do you take the conversation and nuggets from misophonia and apply them to stress and trauma and just hard challenges in your life? So that's what we're exploring today.
Yeah.
Robyn,
Yeah,
tell us, what the heck is misophonia? First of all, what is misophonia?
Sure. Misophonia. It's a kind of subcategory of an anxiety in the brain in which a person has a very strong, a fast and strong adverse reaction to sound. And these are often sounds of people chewing or clicking their fingernails or opening like potato chip bags. If you imagine that. So for some people, that's very, it just takes our nervous system from 0 to 60 right away. And it's not just that it's irritating and it makes the response in the person's body is they want to go stop. It's like a rage response or a quick runaway response. And I didn't really know that I had misophonia because I lived in an incredibly quiet home for a lot of my life. And in my adult life, I lived for about 30 years with a lot of peace and quiet in my home. So I didn't have a lot of exposure, right? I didn't have a lot of triggers, a lot of activation. I had the lucky fortune of getting married later in life and blending a family. And there were a lot of people, a lot of sounds, and a lot of mouths chewing. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't take it. So I researched and learned a lot about this. So one of the things that happens inside the brain is that the sound cue gets kind of what we call overcoupled or paired with a very strong and fast anxiety response. And even talking about it, my neck is tight, my head is forward, so I'm going to relax a little. And that's misophonia. But there's so much help for it. And I found my way out of misophonia with deep curiosity, a lot of research, and this specific exercise called Ragdoll. And this exercise of Ragdoll, which we'll teach in a moment, but in essence, it's really relaxing the body in the face of the sound that makes the system get so tense. Over time and consistency, it uncouples the sound cue from the very strong, unpleasant reaction inside the body. So that's misophonia, and it sounds like it looks like there's some connection in the chat with that.
Do you, YouTube, or anybody you know, have this experience in your repertoire of life? Do you have sound sensitivity, or do you know somebody that has sound sensitivity? And I used to live with a guy. For 2 years, I dated a guy. He had misophonia. He didn't know he had misophonia. And it was so hard to live with this condition because he couldn't tolerate the sound of my breathing while we slept. So we couldn't share a bed together. It was really hard on our relationship. It didn't end up working out for us romantically. What was really cool about him is that because of our engagement, he learned that he had this condition and he learned what he can do about it. One of the things is Ragdoll. So, do you know this? Is this experience familiar to you? And how does it affect you or the person that you know? It's so unpleasant when the nervous system receives a cue, a sound cue, and interprets it as dangerous when it's not. And that's the thing that I find so hopeful, is that this can be changed. Relentless, good to see you here. Nilma Davi, so happy you're here. Tia, what a good question. Is this different from overall sensitivity from ADHD? Robyn, do you want to speak to that?
I'll do my best. And I don't claim to have all the answers on this by any means. Disclaimer, Robyn doesn't have all the answers. Sign on the dotted line, please. And I think there's so much overlap with these things. So where does sensitivity end and misophonia begin? I don't know. And labels are helpful, and they're just labels, or just that. What I do know, Tia, is that the practice of ragdolling for any human who has this type of sensitivity, whatever we call it, or whatever the stimulus is a helpful action we can take to bring more peace inside our own bodies. And it translates to more peace and enjoyment in relational fields, which is a really cool thing and a cool motivator sometimes for doing this.
Robyn, and any other questions, please bring them. I love the evocation of conversation and novel thinking. And I tend to, this is the clinician in me, I always try to bring it back to what's simple and practical and affects my real life. So irrespective of whatever the diagnosis, thinking about Pavlov and his dogs. And I was thinking, no matter what the diagnosis, we are all subject to this idea of conditioned stimulus response.
Yes.
So Pavlov trained his dogs, bell, salivate. Let's say you've had a life where your nervous system, like the dogs, got trained. Sound, dangerous.
Yeah.
This particular site, dangerous. Picking up a pen, dangerous, because now you got to do homework. So there's these pairing of whatever the stimulus is, sight, sound, touch, taste, smell, to a response, dangerous or safe. Let's say Pavlov initially trained his dogs to the bell, and then he neuroplastically trained the dogs to bark. You can do that. And so Ragdoll is kind of like that. Let's say life trained you to bark.
Yes.
In response to a certain stimulus, a sound, the sight of your authority figure that isn't necessarily safe, a certain kind of food, a certain location, certain stimuli will create a response. And you can rewrite that response. And that's what Ragdoll is all about.
Yes.
And we'll prove it to you today. I think I'm going to do the pen and then have you do Ragdoll.
Sure.
Okay, everybody, invitation. I used to speak to surgeon groups on how surgeons, doctors could take care of their body so they can stay well during long hours of clinic and surgery. And so I'd run this experiment, and I'm going to run it with you now. Invitation, if you have a pen nearby, pick it up. If you don't have a pen because you're driving or you're walking, maybe you have a coffee mug or your cell phone, pick something up and notice the ability to pick it up. You don't think about it. It's not something you pay attention to, but you just do it. Now, usually if it's a pen, you often write with this. And so there's a certain handhold that you adopt. Now, invitation to grip it. Really squeeze it, hold it tight. And notice what happens in your hand and in your arms. Really pay attention to your body, because what can happen, and maybe go back and forth, squeeze it, relax it, squeeze it, relax it, squeeze it. And notice what happens up your arm. There's actually contraction that goes all the way up into the neck when you grip your pen or whatever it is you're holding. And now hold this and keep holding it and do it for the next 8 hours. No, at this point, there would be a burst of laughter of ridiculousness at the suggestion of that from all the surgeons in the audience. And it's so silly to think, grip this pen for 8 hours. No, why would you do that? It's physically uncomfortable. It doesn't add value. You don't write better when you grip the pen harder. You actually make life harder for yourself when you grip. And yet we do this unconsciously all day, innocently, because of our 50 million years of evolutionary wiring. We tend to grip and tense, and we don't know that we're doing it until something goes wrong in neck pain, whatever disease you've got. The body will tell you, I've had enough. So what do you do in the face of that, Robyn?
Let go of the pen. Put the pen down. Relax. Let it go. Put the pen down. Let it go. And that's exactly what Ragdoll, the exercise Ragdoll, is about. It's a cue, just like the cue. We get these cues that make us tense. Traffic and sounds and taxes and other people. And the stimulus causes the response to cringe. Ragdoll, when said out loud or to yourself in your mind, or somebody who loves you says it in a kind way, Ragdoll, it's a cue to let go of the muscles of your face, your shoulders, your hands, your belly, to just soften and let go of the tension in the muscles to the best of your ability and to the degree that you're willing and feel safe to do so. So I invite you now, ragdoll. Let it go. Relax the fingers, the toes, the jaw. Really relax your belly. The muscles softening on the bone and relaxing. Ragdoll.
I like the visual of muscles relaxing on the bone.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't sound like you're saying collapse, but stay active and engaged with life and yet soften. And it sounds like ragdoll is the bell that Pavlov used.
Yeah.
Say the word ragdoll in
Ragdoll.
your head or out loud, it cue ragdoll relax, ragdoll relax. Questions about this? Robyn, let's take this conversation from misophonia to trauma and stress in life in general. Do you have, because I have ideas, how often should somebody be doing this? When should they be doing this?
Oh,
What does that look like?
such a great question, Renee. And we know from Eric Gentry's work that this type of relaxation, the recommendation is that we do this 50 to 200 times a day, that there's high repetition. That seems daunting at first. I'm aware that seems daunting at first, but it's the frequent interruption of the coupling and the learning. The brain needs to learn, oh yeah, ragdoll, relax, engage, and soften, as Tia says. So we want to practice this frequently throughout the day. One, so we learn it and it becomes an accessible tool and an accessible program. And it takes high repetition to practice this, to uncouple the response in the face of the stressor, or of what some people might call the trigger or the stimulus or the bell that Pavlov has. So there is a high frequency requirement for this to change the brain. High frequency and doable. I believe it's doable.
Well, given that the average human looks at their cell phone, 144 times a day?
My understanding, yeah.
And that's a great, like, okay, every time I pick up the phone, I'm going to ragdoll.
Ragdoll.
And I like this idea that it's doable. And I first learned about ragdoll probably 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt impossible and necessary. And I was doing it in a training, and I had learned it at the same time as a friend, and I had a buddy, and we would relax in the face of threat, in the face of stress. And we would practice relaxing even when there wasn't a stress. So let's try this all together, YouTube. Let's run an experiment. I'm going to tell you, I just got a letter from an institution. And before I tell you more, invitation for you to check into your body. What is your SUD score, subjective units of distress? 1, low tension and distress, 10, high units of distress. What do you notice about that score in your body? Now, I got a letter. It's from the IRS. It's got your name on it, and they said you owe $4,000. If you're not living in the US, whatever your government institution is, you now owe them 4,000 units of money, and that matters to you. What does your body do when you hear that news? Imagine that. Oh, right? Put in the chat, what do you notice? Now, invitation, ragdoll. And sometimes I like this idea of ragdoll tall. Like I don't collapse. I stay tall like a ballerina, but I soften the beat all around. Ragdoll, tall. Okay, soften your body. Let the meat just melt off the bones. Your face, your eyes, your throat, your neck, your trunk, leg muscles. Soften your feet, soften your fingers. If you can stay soft while I deliver the news that there's a letter for you. It's from the IRS or whatever your institution is, and you owe $4,000. And see if you can stay soft in that. When you do that, you are actively repelling seeds of trauma and stress to take hold in your physiology. When you stay soft in the face of stress and trauma, it is not natural to do this. It's very counterintuitive, but it's a trainable, learnable skill that Navy SEALs learn, combat soldiers learn, Olympic athletes learn, and you, delightful human, can learn it too to maximize your performance in life. When you stay relaxed in the face of perceived threat, real or imagined, it doesn't matter. When you stay relaxed in the face of it, you repel the chokehold circuits of stress and trauma to take hold in your body. It's like you're saying, no, not here. I'm going to practice sovereignty and agency. And I'll tell you a personal story from this morning, and then we got to wrap up because we're already a little past time. I love this conversation. This morning, I was stressed for time. I walk the dog, I come back, and in the lobby of my building, we run into a friend, Marcus Barkus. My dog loves Bonnie, the dog. And I got tense because they wanted to play and the neighbor wanted to talk. And I was like, I don't have the time. And I was just standing there like this, like kind of frozen. And I wasn't saying I got to go because I was in a freeze. And through some grace or practice, because I've been doing this for 7 years, I heard the words ragdoll and I relaxed my body.
Ragdoll.
And what I noticed when I relaxed my body is that I got more present. And then I was able to actually enjoy watching the dogs play. And it took the same amount of time. I didn't lose time. I was still pressed for time, but I enjoyed the time. And I was open neurologically to experience engagement and play that I wasn't when I was tense, because the tension is trying to protect you, but it's also blocking the good from coming in.
Well, that's just what the stress reaction Tia shares. The shoulders tighten upward, trying to protect. And relentless, as the solar plexus gets tight. The back of the neck tightens, and we're in this really guarded. And all of that muscle guarding, it's so sweet because it's trying to protect, and it amplifies the brain's experience of the problem. It strengthens the brain's experience of the stressor. And it's paradoxically, when we relax, that the brain's experience of the stressor starts to shrink and minimize. We can put it into perspective. And Renée, I love how you were saying that. Not only does relaxation put the stressor into a smaller perspective, it leaves some room for joy, for love, for peace, for possibility.
Friends, when patients do this at high reps, high frequency throughout the day, and maybe high reps, high frequency for you is 10, 12, 6.
Start where you are.
And build on it. And in 6 weeks, patients see a difference. Their neck pain is better. Their dizziness is better. Their stress and anxiety levels are lower. 6 weeks. And I guarantee you, in 6 months, a year, 6 years, you can have a different life.
Yeah.
I went from living with a boyfriend who couldn't tolerate sharing a bed with me to being in a really cool partnership now. That was a change in my nervous system and the way it shows up in life and what it attracts. So Okay, let's close up with.
There's my. To inspire your ragdoll behavior, there's a request to show my visual aid. This is my sweet little Raggedy Ann doll. She says, I love you. And it's just a nice visual reminder for me of just the joy and playfulness that can come with a simple cue that begins with ragdoll. Relax. Let it go. Yeah, relentlessly. You remember Raggedy Ann. Oh.
Notice how you can receive joy when you're a little less tense, a little softer, a little more relaxed. Go practice today, practice tomorrow, practice the next day. These first 3 days are crucial to start building the habit. So see if you can challenge yourself to do high reps for the next 3 to 5 days, and you'll be well on your way to literally changing the landscape of your own nervous system. Let's see. We'll be here next week. We're still in our series of nervous system regulation, things we wish we knew sooner. So tell a friend to tell 2 friends. It's great. We saw some new folks here today. Relentless. It has been delightful to have you here today. And we had somebody else new here today. Neem Adavi. Come on back, my friends, and tell your friends. Yes, lifelong dysregulated nervous system from an abusive childhood. This information is a godsend. Thank you for being here. Yeah. And your name is perfect. Like I am relentless to finding my way to thriving amidst all the suck and bad that happens. So good to see you here, everybody. We went a little long today, but we'll be back next week. Mwah! Take care.
Bye.